The Spurs lose their fifth in a row, and it's time to dip into the YouTube mailbag comment.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the Cybertron Springs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everyone's having a great start to their work week. We'll get you through it right here on Locked On Spurs, part of the Locked On NBA Network, your team every single day on YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify, the list goes on and on. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking back at last night's Spurs game versus the Heat. They lost another one. We'll talk about what happened. Three things that stood out for me. And then we're going to get into a mailbag segments with actor and native Texan from Corpus Christi making his second debut here on Locked On Spurs, Nathan Ray Clark. We're going to go over some mailbag comments left on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page and much more right here on Locked On Spurs. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase Locked On NBA for a first deposit match up to $100. So, ladies and gentlemen, your San Antonio Spurs have lost their fifth straight in a row. This time against the Miami Heat at home at the Frost Center. It was looking like the team was going to snap that losing streak, but the wheels came off late in the game. I know there's a lot of fans upset about the horrible officiating, but you can't let the officials determine the call. You can't let the officials determine the outcome of the game. Spurs got to go out there and handle their business. They were doing it for the most part. Unfortunately, the wheels came off, as mentioned, and your San Antonio Spurs dropped one. 118-113. Spurs are now 3-7 for the season. 1-4 at home. They'll next face the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow night out in OKC. Should be a good game. Chet Holmgren versus Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, everybody be tuning into that. So, everybody, what went down in San Antonio? Well, let's look at three things that stood out for me, good or bad, in last night's loss to the Miami Heat. Well, first of all, this team is not learning how to maintain leads. We saw this kind of rinse and repeat happen a few days ago when the Spurs dropped one at home to Toronto despite having a huge double-figure lead. Same situation happened against Miami Heat. The Spurs had a double-digit lead and let it slip through their fingers. The Spurs had a 19-point lead over the Miami Heat, and it looked for the most part they were going to be in cruise control for a good chunk of the game. Sure, Miami's going to make its run, but it looked like the Spurs were going to get out there. So that's my first takeaway. This team still has yet to learn how to maintain leads. Hopefully this doesn't become a pattern. Look, as mentioned, we saw that versus the Toronto Raptors in a loss. We almost saw that out in Phoenix when the Spurs had the lead and Phoenix came storming back to tie at 116, only to barely hang on to that win. Then, of course, we saw that versus Miami last night. This is not a good sign. This is a sign of a team that still needs to learn, still getting used to one another. Blowing a lead like that is unacceptable. Sure, I get it in today's league. 19-point leads are not, insurmountable, but you got themselves a nice cushion. They could have weathered the storm. You had Duncan Robinson for the Heat with 26 points. Bam Adebayo added 24 points and 11 rebounds. The Spurs just, kind of leads me to my second takeaway. No grit. Miami had that want to win. Miami had that never say die. They just had a lot more, grit in their style of play versus the Spurs. They were shorthanded. It was the second night of a back-to-back for Miami. So things were stacking up towards the Spurs side. At home, Vassell had guaranteed a win versus Miami a couple of nights ago after the loss to Minnesota. So confidence was riding high. They just didn't have that, like I said, that grit to close this Miami team out. Miami stormed back. They had more want to win this game versus the Spurs. The perfect example of that want to win is in the final frame. Spurs turned the ball over 6 times in the fourth quarter. Miami, 0. How many runs did the Heat go on? The Heat had runs of 17-0 on your Spurs, 18-5 on your Spurs, 12-0 runs to rally from that multiple point deficit. So there you go. I mean, you don't have that grit. Point number 2, you can't maintain a lead. Leads to the next one is kind of a broken record already. Third takeaway is defense. Just that defense is just absent right now, which is a little baffling. You figure with Wemby on board and with adequate defenders like Devin Vassell, that this team maybe might play a little better defense, but so far it feels like last season where the Spurs just cannot get those defensive stops when needed. For a second there, you thought that defense was going to be shining bright throughout the game. The Heat were only held to 15 points in the first quarter, the lowest by a Spurs opponent this season. But that was pretty much probably the lone bright spot. Another example of that want to win is the free throw disparity. Again, I get it. The refs, a lot of Spurs fans were scratching their head saying, what's going on here, refs? But again, the Spurs have to not factor that in. They have to play like they want to win. Miami went to the free throw line 30 times, the Spurs 12. 12 times, the only times the Spurs made a trip to the charity stripe. Not good at all. You're looking even at just total turnovers, 17 to Miami 7. Again, that just shows you that's a Miami team that, despite being shorthanded, they just know how to win. And you got Eric Spoelstra on that sideline. You got Jimmy Butler, who did play. Just wasn't your night for your silver and black. So to sum up, we have, in no particular order here, lack of ability to maintain leads as we've been seeing throughout the season. The want to win. Miami showed it. Those rallies they went on to, valuing the ball in that fourth period. Spurs coughing it up 6 times. And finally, defense. Defense again. Defense is rearing its ugly head. Hopefully these things will correct as the season goes on. But yeah, tough night for your San Antonio Spurs. Keldon Johnson led the way for your silver and black with 20 points, 8 for 18 shooting, 3 for 10 from the 3-line in 37 minutes. Your Victor Wembanyama watch, 18 points on the night. He was a +5 in the plus-minus column. He had 11 rebounds, double-double, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, although he did have 7 turnovers. He had 8 for 22 from the field, 2 for 9 from the three-point range. As mentioned, your Spurs will next take on the Thunder tomorrow night out on the road. We'll see if they can rally. Coming up next, we have a special guest, Nathan Ray Clark, an actor from Texas, Corpus Christi, and he's making his second appearance here on Locked On Spurs. We're going to go over some fan mailbag questions and that are left on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. And talk to them. Yeah, there's questions about Sochan. There's questions even about the new City Edition jerseys. We're going to talk about that coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. PrizePicks is the daily fantasy sport DFS platform in North America. They are the easiest, most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you versus the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and start watching the winnings roll in. Look, PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So for football and basketball games, you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return and after that in the second half, well, then that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sport platform with injury insurance policy. With basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from 2 or just different sports or leagues. So, for example, Keldon Johnson and Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3 points made and receptions. Fun times you can have at PrizePicks. PrizePicks has quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, a huge selection of players and stat types are what make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. You got to get it right now. I go there. I go check out how the Spurs are faring in the PrizePicks situation thing there. It's all good. Go to PrizePicks right now. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA. The code is LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. And as promised, he is back, everybody. Our good friend, Nathan Ray Clark, straight from Texas, Corpus Christi, baby. He is back for his second time here on Locked On Spurs. And what better treat than to talk all things about you guys, the fan comments. I gave Nathan a task, homework, if you will, to look through the Locked On Spurs YouTube page and pick out some of his comments. Well, not his comments, but your comments. And we're going to talk about that and react to that and much, much more. Make sure to follow Nathan on X. You see it on your screen at Nathan Ray Clark. He is an actor. He's been on NCIS. He's been everywhere on your television set. Even spent the spotlight with Hound, Autobot Hound. No kidding. I'm not kidding. He did.
Mm-hmm.
He did. Nathan, welcome back to Locked On Spurs.
What is going on, Jeff? Thank you so much for having me back, man. This is so much fun. Love coming on here. Love talking Spurs as well. This right here, I just have to shout out to my wife. I got this as a Christmas gift last year. This on top of boom.
No, you did not.
I live in Los Angeles, but I still rep Texas, man. South Texas. So
awesome. I know you're very proud about the Austin Spurs heading to your hometown this year. We'll talk about that later on, what that means for you as a Spurs fan and what it means for Corpus Christi, who was just a city that is just all things silver and black. I mean, they bleed silver and black. A few minutes. Let's talk about you guys, the Spurs fans. So listen, you guys have just been pouring in those YouTube comments, some good, some bad, some, flipping tables and throwing the TV out the window, all that good stuff. So Nathan has went ahead and picked out a few comments. So we're going to start off with the first comment that he liked and he wants to address with you guys, the silver and black fans. Nathan, what's up first?
All right. So first up, I got to say the people that are commenting on your stuff is not nearly as egregious. It's a horrible thing as like X or Twitter. I have seen some things on there that blow my mind, but this is some reasonable questions and reasonable comments. The first one I have, this actually came from a video about 3 or 4 days ago that you did. And it was somebody asking, very simple, do you think Sochan is the answer to point guard?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I'll just throw it out real quick. I mean, for right now, it looks like, I don't think Pop would have put him in that position unless he felt like, well, he's the most capable. Honestly, for me, I think what they should do is give every player a week playing point guard and see who plays the best. Like one week it's Barlow, next week it's Mamu.
Yeah.
It's just like we're not going to have like a legit point guard until maybe next season. Hopefully, with draft picks and trade assets, maybe we'll get somebody legit. I know as far as free agents that are coming up, and I'm not saying they're ones we should get, but Kyle Lowry, Mike Connolly, even Patty Mills and Corey Joseph are up. I'm not saying that they would be best coming back, but those are some options out there.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's been a big topic right now among Spurs fans and even the coaches and the player himself, Jeremy Sochan. I went to Spurs practice recently, and during his media session, he was pretty honest. He said that there are times that he feels like saying bleep this bleep, and that it's taken a toll on him. However, he was positive. He was confident. He says that he's been leaning a lot on Trey Jones. He's been leaning a lot on the coaching staff. And he just wants everybody to understand that he's been thrown into the fire, so to speak, of the most important position on the court. And so, he has to not only guide the team offensively, then has to hurry back and defend your, top of the class NBA guards, Steph Curry's, your Luka Doncic. So it's a hard task for him, but he's getting through it. Nathan, where do you stand on this? Do you think Trey Jones should be reinserted or, kind of ride the ship out?
I mean, 6 to 1, half a dozen to another. I wouldn't mind seeing more of Trey there, but I kind of feel like, look, we just need to get through this season. Spurs have to get through this season and then see what happens. I mean, right now it's just kind of like, I would say go between the two and see if things, work better one way or the other. But I have no real dog in this race. My thing is just like, and I know a lot of other people out there are talking about it. We need veteran presence on this team. If we can get a veteran point guard, other people, that would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. Yeah. No, you threw out some good names though. I mean, your Mike Conley's, look, the Spurs have the cash. They got the draft picks. They got dare I say, the players, if they really want to get aggressive and flip for that.
It's cool to see because, I mean, I feel like it's been small ball for forever.
Yeah.
And which is great and everything. I just think right now it's, just trying to figure it out, get the puzzle pieces in place.
Mm-hmm. But the good news is that Trey Jones is playing in crunch time moments, is playing it, if they need a rally. So he's playing the important moments. Yeah, so, but I think they're going to stick with it. Sochan will likely be your starting point guard for a good chunk of the season, barring any type of injury or massive disaster. Like if he's turning the ball over 10 or more times a game, the good news is that he's getting better with each game. Baby steps. All right, Nathan, what else is on deck? What's the next comment from the Locked On Spurs YouTube page? So
it's so funny that you mentioned Primo, because I went back, I dug kind of deep in some of the podcasts, and there's one here from a year ago, and Henry Rosa, 2783. I got to give him a shout out for this. So he wrote, and this is a long one, so bear with me. As long as the Spurs don't pick another point guard with their first pick, Primo will make a year to leap like Devin. Primo is a professional now. He will participate in summer league, most likely, full summer camp, training, nutrition. I would not be surprised if he averages, 30 a game for 18, 19-year-old. I would say he has a C+ season. Not a bad grade, especially with the inexperience. It'll be fun to watch.
All right.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
C+ on the court, F- off the court.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
A kid who, has all this potential and now he's playing for the Clippers. And, I mean, I don't know how I feel even more awful for him, the fact he's playing for the Clippers. The Clippers is his team. It's like, look, they just added Harden and they have Kawhi, Paul George, and Westbrook. And guess what? They're never going to make it. They're never going to win. You can bookmark this. I live in LA. I have seen the Clippers. I mean, sure, I was at the game where they blew out the Spurs for 40 points, but it's still the Clippers. You're going to go there. And so, but
look, as far as Primo's concerned, he got his second chance. We'll see what he does. I think he probably already finished that 4-game suspension the league put on him. So, but with all those players ahead of him on the roster, he'll likely be with their G League system, if not buried on the bench. But good luck to Primo. What could have been in San Antonio. Maybe there wouldn't be a point guard controversy right now at all.
Very true. Very true. I just hope that at least, he gets more time playing with the balls on the court than off the court. That's all I'm saying.
Done. And on that note,
thank you.
Coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs, we're not done with Nathan. He has a few more YouTube Locked On Spurs comments that he wants to talk about, and we'll address with you. Coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs.
Hey guys, this is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. It's morphin' time.
We spend a lot of time together, you and I. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. I'm thankful for that connection we have, and today I want to chat to be a little bit more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply of ED medications. You realize what that means? Bring on extended travel, bring on the next natural disaster or supply chain issue. You are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, Revatio prescription. And this is possible because of our friends at Jace Medical. Go online right now at jacemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jace. I'm thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut pills in half to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year supply. I also ordered antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies, and I highly recommend this for everyone. If you or someone you love would get some peace of mind by having a year supply of any daily med, go to jacemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your purchase. Also want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's in the 281-1604 area. They're open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. No excuse for you not to go get yourselves the Mudslinger, which is the signature drink, the OG OJ, which is the old school Orange Julius, recreated only at Mudslingers. They even have specialty drinks like the Sub-Zero, that's tip of the cap to UTSA's Frank Harris. They have the Alien, you know who that is, Victor Wembanyama's drink at Mudslinger. It's a full can of Red Bull, green apple, kiwi, very delicious drink. They have dairy alternatives, a big menu. They have mini donuts. They have hot drinks, cold drinks, the Red Bull infused Lightning Bolt series. That'll get your day going. They have it all over at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Over 300 5-star reviews, cannot be wrong. Go visit them right now. They are fan interactive. They are a proud local sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and the first, mind you, and they love helping to serve the San Antonio community. Interact with them on social media, on their Facebook page, on their Instagram page, on their X page, on their Threads page. Pick a platform. They are there at Mudslinger SATX. Go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio. Life is too short for bland coffee. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with our guest, Nathan Ray Clark. Second-time guest. Second-timer. He's a second-timer. Make sure to follow him on X at Nathan Ray Clark. He is an actor. He is Texas-born, from Corpus Christi. He's going to be talking about the Austin Spurs heading to his hometown shortly. Make sure to, again, follow him on X and check out some of his shows, NCIS. You have another show coming up. I know with the whole strike and everything, but you do have like a YouTube series, I believe, right?
So yeah, I have a YouTube series. It's been out for a little bit. It's called Born Losers. It's basically think of Always Sunny in Philly,
okay,
with a redhead Asia film. It's writing Econ Soon. He's been in a ton of stuff. But yeah, you can check out the episodes on bornloserstv.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great stuff. It's just kind of the blind leading the blind. It's making poor choices and having a good time.
Yeah. You've been on NCIS, I believe. Two Broke Girls, I believe, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I did my first gig. I did Glee. I shot that thing. And then after that, Two Broke Girls, Modern Family, which was really cool. I got to work with Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And then within the last year, I worked on Criminal Minds, Evolution, streaming on Paramount Plus. Spoiler alert, I become Alpo. So if you watch the episode, you'll understand that. And then I was in Hawaii back in March this year shooting NCIS Hawaii, and that was before the strike and everything. Beautiful. Hopefully I go back again and shoot something.
Absolutely. We gotta make sure we get Nathan on now before he gets busy down the road once all the strike stuff settles down. And then he's like, sorry, Jeff, can't do it because I'm in Hawaii right now shooting, time is of essence. So Hey, Nathan, what is next right here on Locked On Spurs? We're talking about you guys, YouTube fan comments, kind of a mailbag, if you will, of the comments left on this Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Check it out, Locked On Spurs on YouTube. Nathan's already given us 2 comments. What's up next?
Okay, so to be honest, there's just going to be one more comment, and I think this is going to be the most important. And I know the folks who watch and listen to your podcast are the same ones that follow this gentleman. And this one was from Bonestub 3713.
Yeah, the names that fans pick, man.
I have no idea, but much love to him. This was about 5 months ago, and he writes, "I'll follow Jimenez wherever he does his show. He's very entertaining." That's nice. Clearly, like I said, people that are watching, Mike Jimenez, they're watching you as well, as they should. You guys put on great shows. Me personally, I don't know Mike that well. He invited me on his show like a few months back to talk about the SAG-AFTRA strike when that happened. So I appreciate that. I know you wanted me to cook him today. But again,
he gets cooked on the daily now.
That's what I see. Like I'm on X, and I'm like, why is everybody hating on this guy so much? The only thing I could tell from that is that he likes Fireball whiskey. He openly fantasizes about Paige Spiranek.
Yeah.
And he graduated from McDonald's Hamburger University. Like, those are the only things that I know about him.
I mean, what more do you need to cook him now? I mean, based on that, I mean, that's everything you want to just grill him up. No, he's a good sport about it, though. You know, he doesn't take it too seriously. He knows that it's just for fun. The funny thing, though, Nathan, is that when there are those that really do come at him, like on a personal level, you'll see everybody else gang up on that person. So he's kind of like that lovable character. I can see definitely you maybe down the road portraying a character in that ilk. You know, like you're like, what can be my inspiration? What can I find a lovable guy that just tries so hard? Jimenez. Let's go and look at him.
Exactly. Working on a script right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah. Well, those are the 3 comments that Nathan picked for you. I'm going to now look at one and then react to it right now. So there has been a lot of division among the fan base regarding the new City Edition jerseys, Nathan. They were debuted, and they were just really a dividing thing among the fan base. Some loved them, some hated them, some poked fun of them, saying they're Bill Miller's barbecue inspired. For those of y'all who do not live in Texas, like me and Nathan, there's a kind of a barbecue restaurant, fast food chain called Bill Miller's. Mm-hmm. And just look at those City Edition jerseys. Those exact colors are the colors of that restaurant. So, Nathan, I was at the game for the first time the Spurs debuted them and wore them. And for as much as a good chunk of fans were hating on them, there was a sea of those jerseys everywhere at the Frost Center. The situation is that, look, they just wanted to get away from the Fiesta thing. They just said, hey, let's go ahead and honor the 1968 San Antonio World's Fair. That's the idea. Nathan, what did you think about that? The comment. The comment. Right. This is from Texas Tourist. Says, the court, City Edition court, looked terrible. The warm-ups were okay because I like Bill Miller's. So thank you, Texas Tourist, for that comment. Where do you stand on the City Edition jerseys, a.k.a. Bill Miller's look?
They ugly, man. They're ugly in the court. I can't, dude. I can't. I would much rather have the camouflage jerseys.
Oh, the old camo ones. Yes.
Yeah, I would rather have those. The Alamo ones, like the Fiesta ones. Yeah, totally fine with that. These
the first ones, right, with the stripes across the chest. Yeah, those are awesome. Yeah.
It's like I'm totally fine with that. With this thing, I'm just like I guess they don't want me to give them their money, give them my money,
right?
Because, it's just like, you can do better here.
Yeah.
That's just me.
It just was, to me, it was just like, are you sure we don't hate them, San Antonio? Because I sure as bleep saw a bunch of them at the game the first time they introduced them for the in-season tournament game. Could have fooled me. And then I was walking the Frost Center, those souvenir stands and all that good stuff, the store, they were flying off the shelf. So I think it's one of those things where maybe you saw it in person. Yeah. Maybe it grew on them. But I think they're not going away, everybody. So just hang on in there. You got another whole season of this. They'll be wearing them more often than not as the season goes on. All right. And the final comment, as I'm scrolling through, is from, I know I had it right here. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Here it goes. This is from PMART, P-M-A-R-T. He says, panic, he's referring to the last episode of Locked On Spurs, when the team obviously just experienced playing together. Now, why panic? Because the Spurs, as of this recording, they're on a losing streak, and they've been getting thumped. Nathan, you saw one of them in Los Angeles against the Clippers. 40 points. Yeah.
20, I think 25 turnovers, something like that.
Yeah. Where do you stand? Is it too soon to panic? Hit that panic button? Or are you going to let them, no pun intended, cook for a little while until they get better?
Dude, it's way too early. It's my God. It's like,
get them. Get him, Nathan.
Wemby's 18, 19 years old. We have the youngest team in the league right now. It's like patience. Who was expecting us to even get to the play-in?
Yeah.
You know, it's mind-boggling. It's just like, okay, as Spurs fans, we have been spoiled. We were spoiled for like over
decades.
2 decades.
Decades, yes.
Two decades going into 3. And it's just like, you know, we just kind of have to take a seat and just like, these are growing pains. Things are going to get better than they were the couple seasons prior. Enjoy what's going on right now. Yeah, you're going to have complaints. I have complaints. I have my issues. Jeff has his issues. But you know what? It's just like, it is what it is right now. You just kind of, have to sort of go with it and don't set your expectations so high. I think that's what it is. I think people thought Wemby's going to come in and, be knocking down, 40 a game and, 20 rebounds, whatever. It's just like, it's calmate, y'all. Calmate.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody needs to chill out because, we're not even a third of into the season yet. And you're seeing signs that they are improving. Look at the last game versus Minnesota. I mean, for them to come back after getting down 20 and really put a scare in one of the better teams so far this early season. You saw what they did versus Phoenix, not once, but twice in their gym. And are they going to get clubbed as Nathan, you saw, and, we saw in San Antonio? Of course, that's going to happen. But guess what, everybody? All other NBA teams are likely going to have a bad game. Just look what happened to the Clippers recently. They got destroyed by Dallas. It doesn't matter all that talent. It happened. So give this time to Cook and Cook Jimenez as well. And let them bake a bit. Let them get to know each other. Look, you got Sochan learning the point guard spot. You had an injury to Vassell for a few games that really, really hurt the team.
Yeah.
They're still, trying to figure things out. It will come in time. He is Nathan Ray Clark. Nathan, can't let you go before I ask you about a couple things. One, Austin Spurs are going to your hometown, to Corpus Christi. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Corpus Christi is a big, big Spurs fan base. I mean, it is huge, and they bleed silver and black. Your thoughts when you heard the news that the Spurs are coming to play in your backyard?
I was jealous. I don't live in Corpus right now. I got family out there, but around the time they're going to be playing there, Daddy's got to miss out. I'm not going to be there. I want to. I would love to check out, the Austin Spurs and see what's coming up. Let's what's going on with these guys, and especially like in my hometown. Look, that whole Corpus all the way down to the Valley, like it's nothing but. I don't care what anybody says. If it's like, oh well, the Rockets or whatever else. No, F that. It's it's Spurs all the way.
It is.
I'm
glad that that Corpus is getting it because when the Austin Spurs a couple of years already, they've been going to the Rio Grande Valley. I think they're going to Laredo. Yeah. So they did it twice, and all I can think of was like, man, they should give love to Corpus.
They have the American Bank Center there, which is a great place for them to play. People are going to go there and just in droves, going to watch and enjoy the hell out of it. And I wish I could be there. I do remember, I'll just say this real quick, back like when I was in high school, my family in Corpus, we had a sightseeing party boat business, Captain Clark's flagship. It looked like one of those boats you'd see on the Mississippi. It had like a fake paddle wheel, a decoration, whatever. Anyways, Spurs organization had contacted my family because they were like, yeah, we think we're going to bring him down to Corpus for some sort of event or something, and we wanted to check out your boat. Well, needless to say, the ceiling is not that high on the boat. Like it's definitely like shorter, maybe 7 foot at that. And so it was kind of like, and they wanted to stay late and drink on the boat. And of course, like at that time, it wasn't allowed past a certain amount of time at the dock. So
wow. Look at that. Get that family connection to the Spurs. So that's awesome to hear. Also, and then number two, what do you have upcoming? I know the strike thing.
So no, I can totally talk about whatever. So the strike right now, it's coming up on Tuesday where all the union actors are going to ratify, vote yay or nay whether or not we want to ratify this contract. I'm starting to have some issues because of some wording in regards to AI and artificial intelligence that's not only going to affect actors, but also a lot of other people working in the film and TV industry, crew, makeup, costume, all sorts of other people behind the scenes. So that as far as things, I'd say check out NCIS Hawaii. I was at the end of last season, I think episode 21. You can see that on CBS.com. If you're on Paramount Plus, you can check me out in about like 3 episodes there on Criminal Minds. It's a great show, great season, by the way. It's probably one of the better ones.
He is Nathan Ray Clark. Again, follow him on X at Nathan Ray Clark. Let him know what you think about his comments on the Silver and Black and much more. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day, free and available wherever you get podcasts, YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app, iTunes, Spotify. The list goes on and on. We'll be back tomorrow. Shocker, everybody. Probably more Wemby talk, right? That's going to shock everybody. Yeah, just more Wemby talk, more stuff about your Silver and Black. So for Nathan Ray Clark, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.